Reekin Havoc.
Reekin Havoc.
News, interviews, and more.
We just reek of Huntsville Havoc hockey.
Well, the Reekin Havoc podcast is back for another week. I'm Tim Lambert. We may be a day late, but we're far from $1 short. We've got a fan favorite in the slot this episode. The latest signee announced on Tuesday. Forward Cole Reginato joins us fresh off another fishing trip. We'll also bring you another of Huntsville's greatest hits, along with the latest news as the Reekin Havoc podcast continues.
The Reekin Havoc podcast.
One of the worst feelings you can have is that of being stranded. Well, BT's towing, tire, and truck repair makes that a thing of the past, with 24/7 towing services and roadside assistance in the northern Alabama and southern Tennessee areas. But that's not all. They also offer truck and trailer repair, mobile welding, brake service and repair, new and used tires, and other major and minor repairs. Their name says it all, BT's Towing, Tire, and Truck Repair. For 24/7 response, call 497-8234. That's 497-8234. BT's Towing, Tire, and Truck Repair.
Athens Utilities comprises Athens Electric, Athens Gas, and Athens Water Services. Together, we are committed to providing reliable and affordable electricity, natural gas, and water and wastewater services. We operate as part of the City of Athens, and just like our city's motto of Athens is classic, Southern, character, we believe in supporting what makes our community special. Call 233-8750. Come by our office at 508 South Jefferson Street or look for the link online at athensal.us.
Got something to say? Put it on a t-shirt, or hoodie, or apron, or even an iPhone case. Just go to daddyoscustomtees.com and make it happen. Look through their selection of ready-made designs, or make one of your own. Check out their special hockey designs, too. With Daddy O's Custom Tees, you can truly have it your way. Look for Daddy O's Custom Tees on Facebook, follow them on Twitter or Instagram, or go online to daddyoscustomtees.com. That's DADDYOS Custom TEES.com. Daddy O's Custom Tees. They've got your back or front.
Let's go in the slot.
This week in the slot, we're featuring Cole Reginato, the team's latest signee and returning forward. Joining us for part of the interview was Catherine Wistoft, social media guru for the Reekin Havoc podcast. Last time we talked to you, Cole, you were also coming off a fishing trip, but you'd been stranded at sea, and that delayed Laura's conversation with you. So I'm assuming things went smoother this time.
Yeah, this trip was very well. That was for halibut, though, so halibut fishing can kind of go a bit further out. I was just doing lobster, so if anything goes bad, I can kind of still get back into the harbor fairly quick.
Okay, so you just did lobster this time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Halibut will be next week.
Oh, okay. Well, so how was the haul this year?
It was good. Happy captain, so his name's Drew. I always say happy Drew, happy crew. We caught a little bit more than last year, so I don't think he has any complaints. Hopefully not.
So now, what ends up with these lobsters? Does it go to Red Lobster, or what happens to them all when you guys get through with them?
Well, the Maritimes, they're pretty big here on their seafood, right? So there'll be a lot of local fresh lobster that the wharf and buyers will sell to, and then the rest gets honestly, it gets shipped out across the world to China and whatnot. That's more for probably like the canned food and whatnot, frozen by the time it gets there. But yeah, so it's either shipped across the world or a lot of it goes to just local little restaurants.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, while we're talking about fishing, you're a fisherman. You must have a few fish stories for us.
Yeah, I mean, I only do the lobster and the halibut. I haven't been able to get out for the crab fishing yet. That kind of messes with my hockey season, so I haven't been fortunate to do that. But yeah, that's my 5th year of a full season of lobster fishing with Drew Wilcox, my captain. I enjoy it. I love being on the water. Grew up, living on a river, so the water's kind of been more my home than the land. I really enjoy being out there. Early mornings, watch the sunrise. It's peaceful. Unless you have bad weather, that's when it gets ugly.
So do you ever swap stories with other lobster fishermen?
Those are, I don't really have any good ones, to be honest. Those are more, the older men will tell some crazy stories of how they used to do it years ago, and they'll haul them up by hand and, row out instead of having the motor, a 16-foot boat rather than a 40-foot boat. So, I don't know, most of the stories are just saying how easy us kids have it these days fishing.
I've heard those things come out of my mouth a few times.
Yeah.
So how long do you usually stay out on a trip? As long as the weather cooperates with you.
Yeah, so for the halibut, you can be gone, the minimum would be 2 days. And then, if you hit your quota on the first day, then you come in. If not, depends on how much bait and food you got on for yourself and fuel. You could be out there for a week. Crab fishermen, they can be gone for a month at a time without seeing land. Those are it's a bit more extreme than what I'm doing right now. Maybe when I'm done with the hockey, I could get involved in something like that and receive a bigger paycheck. But for now, lobster, you're in and out each day, long days. But, unfortunately, I get to come home to my own bed for a quick little rest and then head back out in the morning.
Okay. Well, say, I thought it was, you had a certain number of days that you were going to be out, and you just caught as much as you could catch in that amount of time. So, you got a number that you got to hit, and once you hit it, then you're done. So,
yeah, like crab and halibut, but lobster, it's a free range. It's May 15th to July 15th, and you can just fish as hard and as many times as you want. Try to catch as much as you can, but once that date's over, you're not allowed to have any traps in the water.
Okay. And I was wondering how you trained around fishing. So I guess you train, in between trips.
Yeah. So like I said, I come in each day. So we take sail at about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'll get home probably around the same time, like p.m., 12 hours later. And I usually just run to the gym, do a quick hour or so workout, go straight home. My mom will have supper ready, eat my supper, shower, and go to bed. Kind of life for the first 2 months. But now that that's over, kind of have some money in the bank, I can enjoy the rest of my summer while working, just not near as much. Okay. Give me some more time to get on the ice and train.
Okay, so you go out and back every day. I had Deadliest Catch in my brain, so.
Yeah, so that would be like a crab fishing.
Okay.
That style.
All right. Well, you talked about coming down to the warm weather here in Alabama, and up until today, it was not only warm, it was hot. We're supposed to have rain here the next several days, so I think maybe it's making up for all the hot. And of course, saying hot, maybe putting it mildly. What's the weather like where you are?
Yeah, our summer don't really start honestly until this is like a first front week of good weather here, and then it kind of leads into August. But we have like a short 2 month span of a decent summer where you can actually enjoy the beach and whatnot, which is the only unfortunate part. But a lot of people around here, they're seasonal people. They'll start to hunt when it cools down, and then when it snows, they'll be snowmobiling and skidoing, ice fishing. So it's not Alabama. I was on the phone with Ty just last week, and he was saying how hot it is, and he has to get his yard work done before 10 o'clock, or else it's even too hot to even work outside, when he was up in Alabama there. So we definitely don't have that weather here. It's, around 30s for us.
Wow.
And that's, you got a lot of people complaining about that heat. So we're not really used to the heat around here.
30s heat. That's two words I would not put together.
Yeah, that's good for us.
When I went back and listened to your episode with Laura from last year, and you talked about your mom putting the skates on you at a young age, and playing with your brother in the driveway. Are you from a hockey family?
Yes, indeed. Everybody in my family, it's kind of, you're kind of born into it. I have a bunch of little cousins right now, a lot of girl cousins actually that are still, they're involved. I thought maybe it would die off when they hit 10, 11, 12, but they're just as into it as I was at that age. Hockey's it's in our blood, hockey and horse racing. So if we're not on the ice rink with our skates, we're usually on the back of a horse racing. That's kind of eats up our summer weekends here as a family. We do a lot of horse shows together and whatnot. And then in the wintertime, they all get together. They watch most of our games, especially our home games, together on TV. Uncles, aunts, mother, grandmother, everybody there. They all love the game as much as I do. I'm just fortunate to be able to keep playing.
Okay, and I was wondering if any of them maybe played in college or were, had made a move up to one of the leagues.
Yeah, I'm the first to kind of run with it.
Now, I brought this up to other players as well as Stu and Tyler, but I wanted to see what you think. This last season, things started off slower than we fans wanted and probably slower than you players wanted as well. But there were a lot of new guys there at the beginning, and, I'm sure you veterans had to get used to maybe a different style of coaching from Stu and Ty. So, a lot of the folks are kind of the opinion that injury to Dominic was a turning point or maybe a big spark that, the team needed to make that run to the finals.
Yeah, it was obviously unfortunate for that to happen too. He's our captain, our leader on and off the ice. And yeah, it was very unfortunate, but it kind of brought us together, kind of made us realize that this game can be taken from any one of us at any moment, and we just kind of, it sucks to come from such a unfortunate situation, but it did, we all got closer. You could feel it in the locker room, it was a little bit more, I love you, type, rather than see you later. We all became brothers, and like you said, new coaching staff, but we didn't really change much of our systems. We kept it the same. And we're a very systematic team, so a lot of new guys, us veterans, we didn't necessarily sit back, but we knew that we just had to have more patience because all the systems and whatnot would be thrown at all the new guys. Once we start to put one and one together and start to roll with it and be comfortable, that it will pay out in the long run. It does always suck to have a slower start, but I mean we played every game in the season / playoff that we could, right? We went right to the very final game. So with a young team against a veteran team like that, you just have to take, kind of tap your own back and see the bigger picture and be proud of yourself and the team.
Yeah. Well, there were a lot of moving parts that went on over the course of the season. Now, you went through a multi-game suspension after that series in Peoria, and I think Stu felt like that series marked a turning point too. You won 4 out of 5 of those games, and so what's the feeling when you have to sit and watch? I mean, you're not hurt. Is there maybe a sense that you're kind of letting the team down, or is it kind of like getting that penalty that lights the fire under the team to spur the comeback?
Yeah, I mean, in my eyes, I'm obviously saying I'm letting the guys down. I could have done this, I could have done that instead. But, when you start to talk like that, and one of your teammates here, they cut you off right away. They say, we feel a lot safer with you out there protecting us, doing your thing. So if you got to, sometimes it's hard to keep your cool when guys are taking runs at your teammates, especially the younger guys. So kind of doing that, he was a respected player, that guy, and he's also tougher, so I kind of just had enough of him running around, and it kind of had to set a tone, I suppose.
Did you think that was a fair punishment by the league? I mean, you can't do anything about it, but, did you think it was maybe a little bit overkill?
Probably a little. I know I have a little bit of rep. I don't really have like a greasy rep. I do have a rep that isn't afraid touch style. Mm-hmm. And I know they have a lot of rules they have to follow. It's unfortunate seeing the number of games I got compared to what their guy got for doing his thing. Mine was, I wasn't using any equipment to attempt to hurt or anything. And it was just, fighting is part of the game. And, I was just playing the game rather than scoring at the moment. And it kind of got carried away and gave me a few games. But that's part of my game, I suppose. And, coaches, they know what I bring to the table. Sometimes I can put us down a man. Sometimes I can draw their guy in to give us the power play. So kind of balance out.
I do know one thing about that series. Peoria's play-by-play announcer was one of the whiniest I have ever heard. He just couldn't let that hit go that you made. Called you a coward. I mean, he was totally unprofessional, and you know, that was just on and on and on. And I was like, man, just shut up.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't think you're alone on that one.
And Catherine, I think since we're talking about penalties, you mentioned something about Cole and a penalty to me yesterday.
Yeah, I saw a comment when you re-signed. There was people saying, "Oh, I want to hear your favorite Reggie stories," and there was a guy that said you got ejected for fighting, and you were out of your uniform, standing, next to the rink, and you were standing next to him. He said that punch in 4K was definitely going to make the highlight reel, and then that you called your mom and apologized for your behavior.
Yeah, no, fighting started when I was 16, playing junior, first year junior, and, if I would fight, doesn't matter if it was first period or third period, she would leave the game and go sit in the car and try to calm herself down, right? But it's been 10 years now, so she's got better. I never got hurt in the fight. That's what I keep telling her. I say, Mom, I didn't even get hit that fight or something. I'm not bleeding. There's nothing to worry about. And she definitely got better, but, I'm where I am because of her. So after each game, I give her the first phone call before I start my cool down and whatnot. And yeah, if I fight or I'm trying to look for a fight, she's usually in my ear telling me I don't need to be fighting, She wants to watch me play. And same with the grandmother. She'd be calling me saying, no fighting tomorrow night now, no fighting. So I'm used to that part, being told not to, but, when you're in the game and there's people running at your teammates, when you're comfortable with fighting, it's hard not to do it. But yeah, she gets mad at me for that. That's for sure.
Well, you said she had to go to the car to calm down. I thought maybe she was getting all uptight about the other player maybe doing something that they weren't supposed to do. But she was just upset that you got in a fight.
Yeah, no, she never really nags out other players in that sense. She just, kind of gets a little worked up. She's watching her boy fight, and, I'm trying to hurt that guy. He's trying to hurt me. So she just gets a little worked up, and she needs some alone time to find her breath again. Well,
another mother, Tanya Ozanik, your booster club mother. Laura mentioned last year that, she asked you if you were going to keep your gloves on more, and you said, well, you didn't think so, and you were right.
Yeah, I definitely mentally tell myself each year to kind of wind down the fight. I believe last year I think I had a few less than the previous years, and within junior I had double digits in junior each year. So I'm trying, but it's kind of, like I said, it's hard, but it's also getting a little harder to find contenders, which is lowering my fight numbers.
Yeah, and I got to looking at penalty minutes, and the first season, you only had 32 penalty minutes, including, now these are including playoffs. You only had 32 minutes, but then you only played 12 games in that year. Then year 2, you had 84 in 36 games. Year 3, you had 85 in 16. And last year, 123 in 53 games. So each season brings more minutes. So I was going to ask you if you were going for a team record or something, but...
Yeah, I might. All together, I might be up there for that. I feel like I got fed a couple extra 10s this year that really spiked up the numbers as well. They keep throwing in new little tiny rules that kind of affect us enforcers out there. And you get a 10-minute plus you get a 2 on top of that. About half a period that you're going for, and nobody wants that. So I got to try to stay away from those, and if it takes to keep my gloves on, I guess I got to try to work a little bit better.
So after a game, for instance, like the series you had in Peoria, do you go into a game saying, okay, that you're going to get in a fight?
No, like I said, I get, as much as I enjoy it and I'm good at it, it probably gets me more nervous than both of those things put together. Nobody wants to get knocked out in front of a couple thousand people or lose a fight. So I always tell myself I'm not fighting, but I know it's kind of like a psych reverse thing I'm doing to myself. But I'm just trying to keep myself calm and, try not to think about fighting, try to play the game because, I still want to play the game part and try to contribute on the score sheet with the guys. But yeah, the fighting, I try to tell myself, there's no one there that's going to fight, so don't worry about it. But somehow I always find myself in a fight.
Oh, it always catches up to you, doesn't it, huh?
Sure does.
The fight that you had with the guy in Birmingham, I was at that game. My sister lives down there. And me and my mom were being very quiet because we were very aware that we were in the minority, being in a Birmingham game. And I had been very quiet. And when that fight happened, everybody around me looked at me like I was psychotic. I was surprised like the refs didn't hear me. So that was a very good one. That's all I was saying.
I appreciate it. Yeah, that was a good fight. He was good about it, respectful, and my shoulder actually popped out in that fight at the very end. And he looked at me and said, "You all right, buddy?" And he didn't keep swinging at me. It kind of just tied up, and we looked at each other and said, "You good?" And he was, hats off to him for that. He could have really tried to step back and took advantage of me there, but we went at it for a little bit, and then we kind of hugged it out and said, "Good job in the penalty box." No hard feelings, just stop being dumb, stop trying to hurt my teammates that soon. And, by seeing them outside, it would not turn into a fight. If anything, we'll probably be talking the whole time while the bus is being packed. It's, we're doing the same job, the same role. We're just there to play the game that we love. We don't actually want to hurt somebody. You might want to give them a nosebleed to make you look like you won the fight, but you don't want to actually put somebody out of the game. At the end of the day, it is just a hockey game, but, that respect is there for the most part of the hockey players that I play against, which is nice. That part never left the game.
That's something that fans just don't think about. They just think you're going at it. It's like they would fight somebody, and you hate each other's guts when it's over with. So the hugging it out, patting each other on the butt or whatever is not something I guess probably most fans expect.
No, my mom, she still doesn't understand that part. After every fight I tap Buddy, he taps me. She doesn't understand that part, but, it's the game. We love the game. That's why we're still playing it. Since, we're 4 years old, we've been playing this game. So you don't want to see anybody get hurt and have to miss time, whether he's on your team or he's not on your team. That's not part of the game. Part of the game is, trying to win, trying to have fun, trying to get better, not trying to hurt other guys.
We'll be back with more of the Reekin Havoc podcast.
My name is Joel, and I came to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in December of 1987 to be treated for osteosarcoma, which is bone cancer. We didn't know anything about St. Jude. We didn't know what they meant or that, when we got here, what we would do, how it would be taken care of. And when we arrived, we found out that my family wasn't going to have to pay for any of my treatment, not for my medicine, not for travel, not for housing, not for food. St. Jude was going to cover all that. St. Jude supported me in every way, from, taking that financial burden off my parents to making sure that all of my family was included in this time. St. Jude literally means everything to me. I get to go home to my family tonight. I get to cook dinner for them. That's what you're giving. You are giving us everything by supporting St. Jude. So thank you so much.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
This is Matt Duran, and you're listening to the Reekin Havoc podcast.
When you talked about changing rules, how is there a rule? I don't know how many rule changes have happened, since you started playing, or at least in Huntsville. Is there a rule that has come about that has been maybe harder to be able to follow? Yeah. I guess.
Not so much. You just kind of get caught in the moment, right? So you're not allowed to stage fight. So that's right off the face-off. They don't want you stage fighting, and that's one that got me. They want you to wait a few seconds, but when the puck goes down, you just kind of you grab Buddy, and you don't want to waste no time, because as much as you do and whatnot, it's still very nerve-wracking. So you don't want to be wasting time. You just kind of want to get at it. You're not really thinking about penalties. You're just kind of thinking, how am I going to win this fight? How's this guy coming at me? You're always eyeing him up and seeing the way he's moving. The last thing I'm thinking about is the refs and what I shouldn't be doing in that sense.
Okay. And you also mentioned that you do meditation and yoga, I guess before every game. Is the purpose of that trying to help you stay on an even keel, or, keep yourself calm, or, going into a game?
Yeah, I get pretty worked up. I really overthink the game and get in my own head and get myself nervous for games, and it kind of ruins my sleep the night before, and the day of, I'm right tense. And just, my family, they're all into, just fitness, yoga, anything in the fitness world type. And that was just one of them that my mom always believed in, was meditating and trying to just calm your mind. So after I do a good warm-up, I'll just kind of more or less stretching, but I'm also working on my breathing and just trying to clear my mind before I go get my skates on. Just, any little thing that helps will hopefully pay off.
Okay. Well, folks think about yoga and meditation and all that, but as far as, bringing about calm and inner peace and whatnot, but, that that kind of brings to mind, the intensity that you have during a game. It reminds me of that. I don't know if you guys have heard of this or not. The old TV show Kung Fu, where, the main character, he's a Shaolin priest, and he's traveling through the Old West and has to put up with all this crap with each town that he stops in. And by the end of the episode, he finally has to put the hammer down on all these folks, the troublemakers. So, how do you think Stu and Tyler did in their first season in their new roles?
Yeah, I mean, they're one win away from winning the championship. You can't get much better than that. They did their job, and they did their job well. They took it very, very serious, and that's kind of what was hard on the rookies, I think, coming in. Like I said, we're a very systematic team, and we had a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of little tiny bugs at our team that we had to make us that elite team for such a while. And Ty and Stu, they kind of just, they had Glenn there to kind of show them a good path, and they learned from him, and they just took what they got, a little bit of what they know themselves, and they put it together. And, I mean, I have no complaints. We took, the Rivermen right to the final game with a couple good games throughout the season against those guys. They're they're a veteran team. They're like what we were when I got into the league, an older crew of guys that have been there for a few years. They know how to play with each other. So the tables have turned this year on our coaching staff, but I think they did a great job, and they deserve that respect.
And after the season, the start of this season, a lot of people didn't expect to see the Havoc in the finals. Well, now we mentioned the yoga and the meditation. What are some of your other game day rituals or routines? I don't know, if you're a superstitious guy or not, but.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk for 10 hours about the little tiny dings and taps I do, but the basic stuff, we wake up, go to the rink, warm up your body, stretch, get your sticks ready. Go for, honestly, a 10-minute, 12-minute warm-up on the ice, morning skate, just to loosen up the body. And then you come back, you kind of stretch again, you go home, eat your meal, take a good nap, and then you wake up, it's time to get ready for the game. So you're just always doing little things to prep for that game. You do everything the same. I know a lot of guys, you would walk up the stairs on the same steps, take the same route when you leave the door. There's a lot of little things that guys have on game day that just helps you get in the routine. And, if you feel like you're in a routine, it feels like you're doing something right, your body gets used to it. So it's all just kind of your own mental game that you play with yourself to prepare for the games.
So how superstitious are you?
I'll say I'm up there, but then I'll see some guys that are blowing me out of the water with their superstitious. So, but then again, you got some guys who don't even think about the game in a sense, and they just show up and they score 2 goals. So whatever works for you is, you're at the pro level, so it's obviously working. So just keep doing your own thing.
Well, is there a certain team that you get maybe a little bit more enjoyment out of beating than others?
Yeah, obviously the Rivermen. We just since I got into the league, we have not had a good clean game against those guys. Something's always going down. Birmingham, they're our rivals, so you get an extra edge there. We had a couple of incidents against Pensacola, so you don't forget. It's been a few years I'm in the league now, so playing against the same guys for a couple of years, you don't forget a face who done something dirty to you or your teammates. So, that's just a continuous snowball as well.
Well, is there a favorite community thing that you guys do as a team that you enjoy?
We have so many good ones here. Now, you're out of junior, you're kind of on your own, and coaches, you're older, so the coaches give you more trust to be professional with the sport. And given that, we kind of do, when we have our fun, that's for sure. Super Bowl party, Christmas time, you don't get to go home for Christmas, so, the locals, Glenn and his wife are having the team over for Christmas each year. And that stuff, honestly, you're in a different, I'm not in the same country, so you see different like styles of Christmas and what families do. And that's kind of the coolest part about that, just being down there and seeing different, just different food and what people like to do as family games on certain days, especially the football. Football is pretty massive in itself, and that's been a cool part to follow.
You mentioned football. Have you been sucked into the rivalries down here?
Not yet. I keep getting asked who I go for, and I honestly, I can't say I have a favorite team. I only watch a few games seriously on TV. I haven't been able to go watch a game yet. So that's on my bucket list. Got a bunch of buddies down here. They made a road trip up the last 2 seasons. That's always been on their bucket list. But with the schedule, their schedule, and our schedule, it just hasn't lined up yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I sure would love to get to a Roll Tide game.
There you go, Roll Tide.
Careful with that down here.
Well, do you have any favorite theme nights or jerseys maybe that you guys wear? You still got to play, so it doesn't really matter, I guess, the jersey, but, maybe there's some cooler ones.
Yeah. Some nights I show up and I forget they're even doing a theme night because, I'm more thinking about the game. Mm-hmm. Kind of walk in and be, it's Nickelodeon night or something. But, we do some cool, for charity and the veterans and all that stuff. We did a cool Batman versus Superman with the Bulls home and home game. That was pretty cool to do something like that. I never did like both teams having a theme jersey. Never been a part of that. So that was pretty cool.
We kind of had to put off our interview here. You had some golfing that you had to do, and so I know you hockey players like to play your golf in your downtime. Is there anything else that you get into?
Yeah, I just spend a lot of time on the water, to be honest, with my friends and family. Boating, tubing, just swimming. We'll be going away a lot now for horse shows on the weekend, so that'll be taking up a lot of time. But yeah, I just like the outdoors, like I said, I was fishing there, golfing, being on the water, whether I'm working or enjoying it, tubing and whatnot. Kind of just how I spend my days. Just, I go train in the morning, go enjoy my day, and then maybe go train again at night or get on the ice. Just kind of buy time now that lobster season is over. That was a 2-month grind. Now I have some time now to go. Like I said yesterday, I went up to visit my buddy. He bought a new house about 4 hours away, so I went up to see his new house, and we went to golf for 2 days, and now I'm back home. So
what are you doing in between when the season starts? What are you doing in between games?
Yeah, that's pretty well, honestly, the same, just without being on the water.
Okay.
A lot of the guys like to go golf after practice, so that's kind of your day. You go, you train, you practice. Some guys will go golf. If not, maybe frisbee golf. Try to do something outside just so you're not stuck at home playing video games, watching TV, watching sports, to kind of soak up that nice weather. Because when I return in October, it's still hotter down there than what I receive down here in my hot midsummer days. So for me, I kind of just try to soak that up.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask about the video games if you got into that. And this is kind of going back to the game day ritual thing. I had a fan question, and it's similar to one that Laura asked you last year, but what do you eat and drink before a game for maximum performance?
Yeah, a lot of water. Water is key. I usually do a pack of electric lights just to give me that extra top in case I need it. But I'm a big breakfast guy. I used to do like chicken and rice, chicken pasta, but I kind of faded away from that, and I just do a massive breakfast when I get home from the rink. Steak, eggs, a little salad or something like that, hash browns, big smoothie. I really try to fill up around 12 o'clock, and that's it. Kind of get to the rink feeling nice and light, maybe have a banana or something like that. But coffee too. I'm a big coffee drinker, so get to the rink, make sure the coffee's on. Hopefully the rookies didn't leave it empty and don't have to get mad at them. But for the most part, yeah, a bunch of eggs, meat, fruit, and water.
You mentioned coffee.
Protein and carbs.
You mentioned coffee.
Yeah.
Laura has asked this to some of the other players. What's the deal with the coffee maker on your road trips?
The toaster.
A toaster. That's what it was.
The toaster.
The toaster.
Tim.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
My old brain. So what's the deal with the toaster?
Well, we bring a bunch of snacks through the booster club that they give us for the bus ride. You know, a bunch of big boys we like to eat. So, and one of the key is, you know, peanut butter in a bagel or peanut butter banana bagel, cream cheese. Some of the guys get into just kind of give something to snack on because, you know, when you're burning that much energy, you know, calories are key to fuel the body. So we're always staying fed and trying to keep a clean eats. But that's the deal with the toaster. Kind of became a bigger joke this year because I think we forgot it twice early on. So the toaster is probably could be the next mascot for the Huntsville Havoc. All the talk about it.
Okay, yeah, because she thought maybe there was some reason, I don't know, some.
No.
Yeah.
Just a toaster.
Okay.
She's convinced it's some kind of inside joke. That's what she's convinced of after she spoke to Killer.
Okay.
That's what it was. She thinks it's an inside joke of some sort that y'all are not talking to us about.
Well, okay, here's another fan, not necessarily a question, but just a comment that they wanted you to know. One of the fans' 8-year-old daughter, Elizabeth, wanted you to know she named her kitten after you.
Oh, that's awesome. That's the first. That's wicked.
Yeah.
I will say, if you are wanting the record for penalty minutes, you've got a long way to go. The record for the season, single season, is like 396.
Yeah, I don't know. If I try to catch that, Stu might be a little mad at me if I try to do that one.
Yeah.
Hockey's definitely changed a little bit since. That must have been a few years ago now.
Is that Luke Phillips that owns that record?
I think so.
I
believe so.
Yeah. Something else I was going to ask you too. You know, you've been in Nova Scotia, I guess, pretty much since you left here. Now, you're the latest signee to the team, and people might think of a physical pen-to-paper type signing, but that's not how it goes now, is it?
Yeah, well, you have an exit meeting when you leave at the end of the season, and, you know, Stu understands it's still far away and that the season just ended a week ago. But you kind of just shoot, you know, you just kind of talk and you try to see where you're sitting at. You know, some guys know that they're going to retire, you know, so then Stu will kind of leave you alone, kind of let you enjoy it. But if you have interest in coming back, he just, you know, he send a text just to keep in touch. And then as it starts to get a little closer, he'll kind of, as you get closer, he'll send over the documents and you just sign it and sign it back or send it back. You know, it's a lot easier. 2024 now, things are not that complicated. So, yeah, we just kind of kept in touch, and I felt like, you know, there was no more questions or anything. So I said, might as well take the stress off the back and sign away.
Well, we've talked a whole lot about fishing and fighting this episode. So, I appreciate you taking your time out, and I'm glad that we finally got all this together.
Yeah, well, thank you guys. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you this season.
Yeah, see you in probably 2 months, I'd say, just about is the time.
Yep.
Around there.
Well, all righty. Well, again, we appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
That was Havoc forward Cole Reginato on the phone. Thanks to him and Catherine Wistoff for joining in the conversation.
The Reekin Havoc Podcast.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Join us now for Huntsville's Greatest Hits, where current and former players recount their most memorable dropping of the gloves.
Former defenseman Alex Kilcheski.
We go to Macon, we're winning like 4-0 or something. I see Tucker Scantleberry going to punch one of my guys, so I come in from behind him, grab him. We get into a scuffle, he headlocks me, and then the next day he's traded to our team, he's my roommate. So it's like, and then we got to know each other. So it was funny to have, like, that has never happened to me, and it's just hilarious.
We'll be back with the Reekin Havoc Podcast.
In June of 2005, our twin girls were delivered, Melissa and Ann Catherine, and they were born 14 weeks early.
Amy and Chris George talk about the Melissa George Neonatal Memorial Fund.
They both weighed less than 2 pounds. Ann Catherine was 115 and Melissa was 1'9". Melissa lived for a couple of hours, but all of the medical technology in the world just could not have saved her, and she passed away while she was in the NICU. Chris realized pretty early that God had given us a platform that we could use to try to help people. So Chris and I started the Melissa George Neonatal Memorial Fund at Huntsville Hospital.
To know that Melissa's name is living on, her legacy continues, and I think that was very important to Amy and I, is why the fund is named after her. Because for 7 weeks, Melissa fought so that Aunt Catherine would have a chance to live. And I think that we wouldn't be doing her name any justice if we didn't carry on, because we know we wanted to honor her and honor her legacy. And the community, Huntsville Havoc, the community in Huntsville itself, they've rallied around that. And it's been a wonderful support system for us. And I think for a lot of families, too, when they see total strangers that are giving.
We're online at HuntsvilleHospitalFoundation.org. Click on the Melissa George Neonatal Memorial Fund, and you can give that way.
There's no donation that's too small, and every dollar is just as important as the next one. And if you're giving, then we understand you're giving because you care. And that's what's important, is that we've learned over the years that people give because they care.
And you can volunteer. If you're interested in that, you can click on the volunteer tab to fill out an application. We are grateful for any type of support, because we know that once we pull those dollars together, we can do big things.
For more information on the Melissa George Neonatal Memorial Fund, visit HuntsvilleHospitalFoundation.org.
This is James Patterson, and you're listening to the Reekin Havoc podcast.
Cole Reginato will be returning to the Havoc this upcoming season. The Sydney, Nova Scotia forward first made his appearance in Huntsville in the 2020-21 season and has totaled 40 points, including 19 goals and 21 assists in his 104 games. Full schedule for next year was revealed back on Monday. A total of 56 regular season games will be played, 8 times against Evansville, 7 against Birmingham, Pensacola, and Roanoke, 6 versus Knoxville and Peoria, and 5 with Fayetteville, Macon, and Quad City. First game is at Birmingham on Friday, October 18th. Season opener is at Birmingham on Friday, October 18th. The home opener is against Pensacola a week later on October 25th. The 2024 On Ice Summer Youth Camp will be July 22nd through 25th for ages 8 to 14. Cost is $330 for skaters and $275 for goalies. Go to the menu at HuntsvilleHavoc.com, select Fan Zone, and click on Havoc Youth Camp to register. The annual Showcase Camp will be July 26th through 28th at the Huntsville Ice Sports Center. 8 players from last year's camp ended up playing professional hockey last season. Cost is $250. For more information, go online to HuntsvilleHavoc.com/showcase-camp. Season tickets for next year are now on sale. Full, half, or quarter season plans, as well as group tickets, are available. Go to the menu at HuntsvilleHavoc.com and click on the Tickets tab. The 5th annual Havoc Classic Golf Tournament at Cherokee Ridge will be August 26th. Door prizes will be given to each golfer. Shotgun start will be at 1, with registration opening at noon. Cost for a foursome is $500. For more information and registration, go online to HuntsvilleHavoc.com/Havoc-Classic. Summer hours for the Havoc front office are Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. till 4 p.m.
Hear the Reekin Havoc podcast wherever you go. On your favorite podcast platform, on your Amazon Echo device by saying, Alexa, play the Reekin Havoc podcast via the PAS Plus app and online at ReekinHavoc.com.
The Reekin Havoc podcast.
For those returning from military service, the transition back to civilian life isn't always easy. Retired Marine Gunnery Sergeant Bill Cook talks about still serving veterans.
The mission of Still Serving Veterans is to serve and honor veterans and their families by empowering them to build meaningful lives. And we do that through connecting to fulfilling careers, getting the benefits they deserve, or the services that they need. We have never charged anybody anything for our services. A group of business leaders in town felt there was a need to help the seriously wounded make that transition back into civilian life. Employment services, VA benefits, and connections to other community services. That's what we do. If you're a veteran and you need help, please get a hold of us. Go to that website, ssv.org, and you can find out pretty much anything you need to know about still serving veterans.
In Huntsville, call 256-883-7035.
For tickets, official Huntsville Havoc merchandise, and more, go to huntsvillehavoc.com. Visit our website at reekinhavoc.com. Look for us on Facebook, Instagram, X, and Threads. And listen, follow, and subscribe to the Reekin Havoc podcast on your favorite platform to keep up with the only weekly podcast covering the Huntsville Havoc, the Reekin Havoc podcast.